Hey, so today we're going to go over Notebook LLM a little bit more. Um, Once again, just because it's a great area to use for planning. And something I'm going to note that's worth exploring is there are a lot of featured notebooks that already come complete with multiple sources and a bunch of other stuff. And it's just, a great way of getting a better feeling of the area. So like this, for example, shows all the sources you can have, and say that you're like communicating with it or whatever. You can remove sources if you want those out of the way when you're exploring something. And another interesting feature is that when you open them up, it's going to have a concise little summary along with topic points that you can click on, and it will immediately shoot you over to the chat and open up about those. But say that you want to, want to make one of these yourself. Let's go ahead and try Gemini. And by the way, also you can also have like this list or pictures. It really depends on how you want it. But let's create a new notebook. And say that I want to have a multitude of sources. So for one, why don't we use the Alice in Wonderland book again? It's going to go ahead and download that. And I want to use a lot more sources than that, though. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this link about Alice in Wonderland. Maybe an additional one. It's a different type of summary. Just so we have a lot of sources that provide information about the themes, the characters, and so on. Ooh. And say that, we want to have more than just like YouTube sources, right? So maybe we're going to pull a source from a website as well. Now, note that these sites aren't always going to Notebook LLM is locked out of certain sites. So if that ends up being a situation, you can still carry over the text like this and copy and paste it into this area. But I mean, this isn't locked out though, so I'm just telling you as an example. For keeping in mind. So while all this is going on, we can just say, see, now you can see like a little bit, but let's say that I want to create a time schedule to learn all this material. So let's write down, help me create a timeline to study and learn about adventures in Wonderland over a 1 month period. Split the weeks into different topics like the characters, book themes, and so on. Now it's going to go through the source put you created, and in order to save, because supposedly Notebook LLM doesn't um, take data off of what you're doing, you have to save to note and just give it a little bit of time to load up and such. So that's going on though. Let's switch over to here really quick. That topic point that we were talking about now, just like a pretty lengthy explanation on what's it about. But maybe we want a summary on like what is philosophy in general. So provide me summary. And that spans 3 paragraphs. It's going to go into the notes and make that. And this is great because because it has all these sources, you can hone in onto specific sources where off the bat it does already provide you with a summary of it, but say that we want to have a little bit more precision and ask specific things about the source area. Just like, say that you're going through a research article. We can't ask specifically about that. And in like a business setting, you might have multiple spreadsheets, different emails, and all these like types of information across different settings and different formats. So having something like this makes it much easier to use. And another thing to keep in mind is that remember how we discussed about the tuning of large language models. NotebookLLM is specifically built to have a decrease in the amount of hallucinations in comparison to openly using something like ChatGPT, at the expense of creativity, though. So it specifically focuses on the information that you give it. So keep that in mind as well. I'll just reload this really quick. And here. So now we have this pretty good timeline schedule of getting more familiar at a student level about Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It gives you weekly readings, chapter 1 to 4, specific study topics, and then the following week, same deal, chapters 5 to 8, specific focal points in the story, and so on and so on. So just keep this in mind as well when you're organizing or presenting information. This is a fantastic tool. And yeah, see you in the next module. Have a good day.